when we started our outbound tourism, trading with the different countries. Arthashastra, written by Kautilya in 3rd century BC, describes the importance of travel to the state. It also provides different types of vehicles for travel and the classification of routes. This gives a glimpse of travel and tourism in ancient India. So even today, we use a lot of mode of transportations to reach a particular destination. So imagine 4,000, 5,000 years back itself, they had all these plans, how to travel to a different place. So tourism has started from there, from their ideology. The Mauryan Empire was well known for providing good facilities for the travelers. The Grand Trunk Road was built by Mauryans. Later, Sher Shah improved it with some towers, stone towers. Infrastructure like caravans, sarais, and dharmashalas were common. Wells were dug and trees were planted to provide shade to the travelers. So you can imagine this is what the sustainable tourism, what people would have planned during that civilization itself, to facilitate the people. Security pickets were placed at convenient distance in order to provide security to the travelers, because those days there is no infrastructure, everywhere it is forest, lakes, so no proper security. So the civilization which were ruling during that time, they used to provide all these facilities for the travelers as well. Arthashastra also gives details of passport. Can you imagine, 4,000 years back, they had a term called passport. The ancient term is mudra, but this is what they were using. Passport as early as 3rd century BC. It mentions that there was a governmental department to look into foreigners. Passport for mudra was essential for all travelers. Those who are not in possession of mudra were fined 12 panas during that time. In addition, travelers were required to get themselves checked at various checkpoints. They had a lot of checkpoints during that time itself. So now, the before slide, we were discussing about the civilization which were ruled northern part of India, by Aryans, by Mohenjo-daro, all those Mughals and all others. Now we are coming to the downstairs of South India, because we have very short time. I'm completing it quick because it's very vast subject, as I told you. Now the Sangam age, there are two beautiful ages. One is Vedic period, one is Sangam period. The Sangam age, the lost continent of South India, Kumarikandam. I don't know how many of you heard about this name itself, because it is a lost continent. The ancient history of South India is set from the 6th century BC to the 3rd century CE and marks the rise and fall of several dynasties. The ancient period is also known as the Sangam age. The ancient history of South India saw many outstanding contributions to the economic growth. So, the sustainable tourism also started during that time, 6th century BC to the 3rd century BC, to develop vast temple complexes where people can stay who doesn't have their houses, they can stay in the temple. So these dynasties wanted to develop the social culture, growth of economy, religion and culture. As for the tourism point of view, the sustainable tourism has been started from the ancient Sangam itself between 6th century BC to the 3rd century BC. While there are 3 Sangam stages in the ancient history of South India, the 3rd stage is often considered by historians as the Sangam period. Now, who were the dynasties who were ruling during this period? Ancient history of South India overview. It is believed that these people were migrated from lost continent of South India under the Indian Ocean, named as Kumarikandam. This is also mentioned as Lemuria. I don't know if you have heard about in the history, Lemurian years. So this continent is also mentioned in Lemuria. This period is named after Sangam academies of poets and scholars established in Madurai during ancient times. So Madurai was their base, the Pandya dynasty. South India comprises the present day state of Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu comprises of Kerala and some parts of Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka and Sri Lanka. The entire thing was considered as Tamil Nadu. The ancient period saw the rise of several South Indian kingdoms that reformed the society and introduced many socio-cultural and religious changes. The picture you can see here, this picture, this is the ancient port near Lake Pulicat, which is 17 kilometers from Chennai. This was the first trading port by Dutch. Portuguese used to come here, trade during Krishna period. They used to trade a lot. So the entire slavery system and the first logo, today we use logos. The first logo was invented here called VOC. So that was the first logo invented here. Even today, it is a beautiful tourist spot for people to come and explore. It is a beautiful port. It's very big. Huh? It is, in the map you can see it is very small, but it's very, very big. Important dynasties and gurus of South India. The prominent dynasties prevalent in South India in the Sangam age were the Pandya dynasty, Chola dynasty, and Chira dynasty. I don't know if you have heard about all these dynasties, maybe history students might know. As per the ancient history of South India, these dynasties controlled significantly to the development of society, culture, and religion. Today, what you see the culture, religion from the southern part of India is being introduced by these dynasties. We follow this ritual, we follow that ritual. This is how we have to go to the temple. This is how the temple has to be. The architectures of the temple, the design of the temple, why the temple has to be constructed. It has nothing to do with religion. You know, the architecture science of people who had that kind of maturity and they were so spiritually connected, you know, to plan about things. Contribution by the 18 Siddhas for the society and humanity were immense. Few examples: spiritual literature, Siddha medicines, ancient astrology, yoga, meditation, many more. So today you see we have a capital for yoga. Rishikesh is a yoga capital. But how did it came up? It is all because of Siddhas. If you take the ancient history of yoga, it has taken birth from South India. There was a Siddha called Patanjali, whose lifespan was considered as 5 yogas. You know, he was the one who introduced yoga and meditation to the humanity. They used to do a research on why the breathing technique has to be maintained. You know, they analyzed with a lot of animals, like why tortoise lifespan is very high, why dog's lifespan is very less, just because the way they breathe. So based on that, they used to start meditating. They used to hold their breath, breathe inside, so that their lifespan can increase. So this is what the Siddhas used to practice, and this is what made useful for all the humanity during that time, people. The beginning of the ancient history of South India can be traced back to the megalithic age, which lasted from around 1200 BCE to 300 BCE. After that, the prominent dynasties of Chola, Chira, Pandya were established. Now, the contribution from many gurus like Jagadguru, Adi Shankaracharya, Vivekananda were very useful for the development of clean society. They wanted a clean, it is nothing related to any religion. They wanted a clean society. So they implemented many things which people can follow and make themselves perfect in their lifestyle. The birth of sustainable tourism through Chola, Chira, Pandya dynasties. The major South Indian kingdoms that brought social culture reforms and significant changes in the politics of South India were Chira, Chola, and Pandya. They built massive temples. I don't know how many of you have visited Tamil Nadu, but if you go and see the temples in Tamil Nadu, they are massive. You can't even imagine how the architectures during that time, without any proper machineries, would have been built these kind of massive temples. You know. I will take a small video.
Asian style of architecture.
So there are different types of temple architecture. I mean, this is all again, people to follow their rituals, people to follow their religion, or people to follow uh, the way of living. There are different, each dynasty has a different architecture style. This one, what you are seeing here, is called Madurai Meenakshi Amman Temple, which is a massive temple. This is the architecture by Pandya dynasty. So whenever you see there is a colorful, gopuram, colorful temples with lot of, paintings inside the temple, it dedicated to Pandya dynasty because they built very colorful. These are massive, gopurams. See, if you miss the south entrance, if you enter into south entrance, and if you have parked your car near to south entrance, once you enter into the temple, you will definitely get confused to come out. You have to make a note which entrance you are entering into the temple. Otherwise, you have to walk almost 14 kilometers outside the temple to reach your parking place if you come out of west or east in any other entrances. That's so big. This temple is so big. It's very, very beautiful temple. It has a 1,000-pillared hall inside. This one stretch there is a 1,000-pillared hall. This is Brigadeshwara temple. This is again a very remarkable architecture. So you can see the gumbad, the top stone which has been placed. This temple. You can see the top stone which has been placed. It is one monolithic stone which weighed 82 tons. So imagine how they would have placed that on top of that Gopuram. The scientific proof they give in the Saraswati Mahal Library in Tanjavur, they say they had built 11 kilometers bridge to push the stone slowly to the top through elephants and other mode of things what they had. And the beauty of this temple is you cannot see the shadow falling on the ground. It falls on its own body. So the architectures, the people who have built this temple, they doesn't want people even to stamp the shadow of this temple. That was the concept in their mind. So the entire shadow falls on its whole body from the sunrise till the sunset. Any time of the day you cannot see the shadow. That's the marvelous beauty of this temple. It's very big temple. 1 or 2 hours is not enough to understand about this temple. It's so big. The architectures are so nice. You will be mesmerized to travel around. You should at least take 4 to 5 hours. Enjoy the architecture because these are all from our ancestors. We are not recognizing it properly. That is a pity. Now these are from Chola Dynasty. So 3 different architectures I have given now. They were the rulers of South India. So first one we saw Pandya with the colorful gopurams and colorful temples. The second one, a marvelous architectures. Third one, minute architectures. So if you enter into this temple, none of the pillar you can see plain. None of the temple you can see plain. It's all very, very minute architectures. The stories of Mahabharata has been depicted. The entire Mahabharata has been depicted in this temple. The entire Ramayana has been depicted in this temple. Our old Puranas has been depicted in this temple. So you just need time to explore. And this is only temple which was constructed from 3 feet below the ground level. During the rainy season, people have to go until their hip in the water, walk inside the temple and get into the temple. That's how it has been constructed. A very beautiful architecture. All these temples are recognized by UNESCO World Heritage Sites. I'll play a small video about the religion of that particular time, Tamil Nadu. So that the last temple which you have seen in the video is Srirangam temple. It is one of the biggest temple in India. The beauty of this temple is it has 7 walls, parikramas, where you can see only 1 or 2 in any temples, but this temple has 7 parikramas and 21 gopurams. So from north to south and east to west, there are totally 21 gopurams, which resembles the temple. The entire Srirangam city falls under this temple. The entire city falls under this temple. We have another concepts like for sustainable tourism. I'm planning, I'm doing again a lot of research on these tours, where tribal village tours, northeastern sector, I've visited many times to many tribal villages there. Mysterious villages tours. There are a lot of villages which are very, very mysterious. Villages of snake, where snakes are being as a family member in every village, in every house. There are villages of Africa in Gujarat. People look like exact Africans. There is a village of Portuguese in West Bengal, where people speak only Portuguese. Village of twins, where 75% of the family gives birth to twins. It is in Kerala. So there are a lot of mysterious villages. Mythological tours with scientific proofs. Ancient cave tours dated back 25 million years ago, formed caves. This is again research done by Archaeological Survey of India. Hidden secrets of Himalayas. There are a lot of hidden secrets in Himalayas which needs to be explored and brought it to the light in the form of sustainable tourism, because the people living in these areas doesn't even have a tea to drink. No, they are going around so poverty. They are below poverty line. They don't have any mode of living. Even agriculture is not there. So I wanted to promote the temples which are there, the caves which are there in this region, bring under sustainable tourism, give a livelihood to the people living in that villages. We have already done. 233 villages have been promoted through sustainable tourism. We have done that. 233 villages in Himalayas has been promoted. And people today have some restaurant, working in some restaurants, some tea shops. They have their livelihoods there. Prehistoric tours with scientific evidences, rare India tours, iconography tours, plantation tours, yoga and meditation tours. So these are some of the tours which we are planning to do in future. That's all my presentation. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Thank you. Any questions?
So what is that one destination, temple destination in South India that you would recommend that we should never miss to visit?
If you ask me, it is a very complicated question, because South India everywhere, even Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, everywhere the temple architecture. But if you want to mesmerize the architecture, Tanjore is the best place. Okay. Or Srirangam, Trichy, because Tanjore and Trichy is very close by. So you can cover both the temples. Beautiful architectures.
Sir,
yes.
You have mentioned about Brideshwar temple, it's being below the 3 feet of ground.
No, not Brideshwara temple, that is Airavateshwara temple.
Okay. Why? What is the reason behind that, sir?
That's why they want people, like in our old tradition, we wash our legs and go inside the temple or inside the house. So this temple was constructed based on that fact, because you have to get wet under your hip, you have to get wet before entering to the temple. So that's why they have built in that concept.
Okay. So water will be artificially like filled in?
No. Normally in the summers you don't see waters there. Again, it's a tap you have to take. But in the rainy season, yes, water is there. Around till 3 feet water is there.
Just I can add on to it, because why South India got all the towers and cobras are there. So Himalayas got a peak because it's a high peaks are there. It's a pool of consciousness. So when we are in south, where all the temples have a high towers, which pull the pool of consciousness to give a better our spiritual or meditative mode. When you go into the temple, you get that calmness, and then you can get a lot of rejuvenation in your body, mind, soul. That's the reason it's built.
It's actually fact what Sir was telling, because if we discuss about cosmic energy flow, it is a big subject again. Why there are copper pots kept on top of the gopurams is only to pull the cosmic energies from the space. As Sir rightly said, Himalayas doesn't need it because it is already there in the cosmic energy. So this here we have to pull that through some source. Anything else? Thank you.